Hey YouTube, today we're going to be building a downpipe for this 3582 eBay turbo, eBay manifold, and I got an exhaust kit that I built, my 3-inch catback from Mazdaspeed, and cut a bunch of pie cuts, different sizes, a couple straights, little pieces. I got a vibrant 3-inch downpipe flange, so I'm going to be welding onto that. I got a dump tube, or I'm going to try to recirculate it into the downpipe, see what I can do with that. This is, like I said, just an eBay 3582, eBay wastegate. And this will eventually be going into speed. Just the only thing holding me back is this downpipe, and then I'm gonna have to get a tune, and that's the only thing I need, and an air filter. But that's small. I can get that easily. But let's start on this downpipe. All right. So I got the flange just on the turbo temporarily. This box here is to kind of replicate my alternator. So I've got to make sure I build it out and around here, connect to that, and go from there. This is going to be the first flange. I got this straight to a 15-degree pie cut, putting that right in there, just like that. And then now I can kind of angle it around, and I'm going to just kind of be taping the cuts all together, and I'll show you what that looks like. Just have these tacked on there just because I couldn't get the tape to hold once I got a couple pieces going. So got the 3 pieces or the 4 pieces tacked. I don't have it tacked to the flange yet. I'm gonna make it to where I can move it around a little bit and tack that last. What I want to do is get this piece connected to the wastegate into here with this piece here. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it off the car. Then from here, I can make it connect to the downpipe that's currently on it. I can cut it and use a couple pie cuts just to get to wherever it is there. But I won't be able to do that until I get it all in the car. I wanted to get this part done all the way to the wastegate to right here. And what it's going to do is come 90 down and then to a V-band. And then V-band to the rest of the exhaust, so that this piece is removable and I won't have to try to snake all of this through the car if I ever have to remove it. So I'll keep working on that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get this, if I get this all to the wastegate. If not, I said I might change this up and just run a screamer pipe straight down and just go from the downpipe and not even worry about trying to tie it in to recirculate. But I'll show you what that looks like if I can get that done. So this is what I got just tacked together. I did tack it to the flange just to keep it where I need to do it. What I'm doing right now is I have this wastegate flange here. I just gotta notch these out here, get that to line up just right with that, cut a hole in there, weld those two together, and then that's where I'm gonna end there. For now, until I, like I said, get the turbo in the car, and then I can finish this and connect it to the original 3-inch catless downpipe. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. So today. We put on the GT 3582. The all stock turbo started smoking, and I've got this all put together. Finished up the downpipe, got it tied in with the wastegate, got it all wrapped. Gonna start putting this on. Take you guys along for a ride. And here we are. I got the battery removed, I got the intake off, some of the intercooler piping, the heat shield off the manifold, and now I'm going to raise the car up, get underneath the car, drain some of the fluids, and start disconnecting some of the downpipe, and so that I can pull the turbo off, either down or up, and the manifold off, and put that new one on. I'll show you what that looks like once I get all this off, and we'll go from there. Alright, there I got the stock manifold and my stock turbo. Quite a bit of play in that shaft. I'm going to be repurposing the oil drain, the coolant drains. I'm going to be putting them on the turbo. And there's the old downpipe. I'm going to be cutting it right about here. That's where I'm going to weld the V-band onto there. Hopefully that all matches up. It should be pretty close. This, I got some adjustment I can move around. And this is what we're working with here. I don't know if I'm going to have to remove this shield or kind of push in some of this, or kind of maybe hammer in a little bit of this, or cut some of this plastic up here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with putting the new manifold on there, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get that all on the engine. Alright, here is the manifold I'm going to be using. It's a cast iron T3 eBay turbo for a Mazda 3 Mazdaspeed. It was $89, and it looks good. I mean, it's pretty solid, no cracks. It's got a 38mm wastegate there. I did buy extended studs. The studs that came with weren't big enough for the turbo to fit on, or anything to thread on afterwards, so I bought the bigger studs, put some red Loctite in there, threaded them all in there, and this is the manifold that's going to be going on the car. Right, here we are. I got the manifold on, just one bolt on, which is this bolt right here in the center, which obviously you have to put on when the manifold is halfway on, or else you wouldn't be able to fit the nut onto the stud with the manifold already on. So you have to start with that bolt right there in the middle, and then you work yourself out. I got the GT3582 on the manifold. I had to cut some of the firewall and bend it back and hammer it down just for that to fit. It is pretty tight in there. I got plenty of room down at the bottom. Probably gonna have to remove this heat shield here to run the intake. Just got the elbow to come out here, but the turbo is on, so that's a good start. I'm gonna throw the bolts on, tighten everything, torque everything down, and then start running some lines for the oil feed, oil drain, and coolant feed and drain. I'm gonna, like I said, use the ones off the old turbo and just make them fit, bend them a little bit, and make it work. I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. I got the turbo on. Downpipe's on right now. It's just I need to connect it to the original exhaust, so I'm going to be pulling it on and off. Took the heat wrap off of it. Didn't want it to hit everything. And this is the intake there. Got the K&N filter on there. I did throw the CX Racing blow-off valve back on. I got my Mac valve all plumbed with the vacuum hose. Still need to connect it to the connector down here, and do that. I have a Cork Sport 3.5 bar map sensor I'm going to change out there. And then once I get that done, the oil feed line I had was only a 36-inch feed line, and I'm going to need at least 40 to 42, 46-inch feed line. So I ordered that. Should have that over in the next day or two, and that's going to connect to my oil feed down to the sandwich plate down there. I got all the coolant lines done down there with some just purple silicone hose. And like I said, the silicone hose up to the Mac valve for my boost controller. Got the vent there, catch can on. Everything's looking good and coming together. I got the intercooler piping on. Just had to do a 90 elbow, a 2.5 90 elbow there. Just kind of had to turn that piping a little bit. Hood closes and everything with that. Looks good. The turbo's nice and tight back there, but we're coming together. So I just got to tie the downpipe in to the wrist of the exhaust, and the oil feed going there. I got the oil drain all taken care of. I'll show you a picture of that, or I'll take the camera down there and take a look at that with the eBay wastegate I have, and show you what's going on down there. Now we're down underneath. This is the wastegate I have. It's a 38 millimeter eBay wastegate. Got the oil drain wrapped in the DEI going down to the oil pan. That is the exhaust. I put a V-band onto the rest of the exhaust that goes out to the V-band there. So at the flex joint, so I got the V-band connected there. I just got to connect that exhaust to there, and that's it. So I got all the coolant lines all done down here. Everything I just got to connect the downpipe to the wastegate and connect the downpipe to the rest of the downpipe, and we will be good. Alright, I got the exhaust all done. After the downpipe, I just took it and just turned it down. I didn't attach it to the rest of the exhaust. I'm just kind of wanting to get this done. I got the tune from Freak Tune all loaded up. I just unplugged the injectors and cranked it for a little while to get some oil going up. Just put it back in, and now we're going to do the first start. Here we go.